Hi, it's NiaOlivia and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about an experience I had with a stalker. And I'm also going to be giving you all some helpful tips on what to do if you find yourself in a similar situation. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified anytime I post a new video. Okay, so let me tell y'all this story. So this story takes place in Louisiana, and this is when I was actually in college. So during this time, I was just, having a good time, and I would have, male friends, and we would, hang out and do different stuff. So this particular gentleman, I don't really know if I want to say, I guess we were kind of just dating, but we were really just friends. It wasn't anything like serious or anything. I hadn't known him for a super long time. So basically he hits me up and we're going to go to a restaurant. So I remember it being probably like a Sunday because I feel like stuff was like closing early, but we go to this restaurant and I don't remember any of the details about the conversation or anything like that. But I mean, I guess it ended up being fine. So after we like eat and everything, we walk out to the car, and I remember like as we're walking out, there weren't like a lot of cars out there or anything. I think he had like a truck or something like that. And I remember there was like another car that was like parked next to him. So we get into the car and, we're kind of laughing and stuff. I think we had some drinks and stuff. So we were, both in a good mood. And he turns to me and he's like, have you ever had a stalker? And so let me just say this. I think it's really important that you ask people if they've ever had a stalker, if they currently have a stalker, because you never know what the person might say. Maybe they were too nervous to tell you. So just want to say you always need to ask someone that. Okay, but I hadn't asked him, but he brought it up. So he turns to me and he's like, oh, have you ever had a stalker? And I was like, I mean, not like a serious stalker. Like I might have had someone, who repeatedly called me or something like that, but just like popping up, at that point in time, I don't think I'd had one of those. Now I have, but we'll talk about that another day. So anyway, he goes, oh, well, I actually have a stalker. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, she's right there. Like she's in that car right there next to us. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, you're joking, okay? Because there's no, you mean like right there, like the lady that's in that car right there. And I look over, and remember, we're in a truck, so it's kind of high. So I'm kind of like looking down, and the lady is like facing forward. Like she wasn't even like staring into the truck or anything like that. And I was like, how did she know we were here? Like, okay, Baton Rouge is not a big place. So he was like, you know what, honestly, somebody probably called her and saw me, because he was someone who I guess people knew in that area or something like that. And so he's like, someone must have actually called her and told her that we were here at this restaurant. And I'm like, okay, okay, here's the next thing. So one of the things that I realized at this point in time was I didn't drive my own car to our date. He actually picks me up from my home. So he needed to take me back to my home. But now his stalker is right here. What are we going to do? So I'm like, okay, well, I still need you to take me home. This is before like Lyft and Uber were like big, because obviously at that point I would have hopped on and been like, look, let me catch a Lyft somewhere. Let me let y'all handle this because I want no parts of this. So he's like, nah, it's going to be okay. Hopefully she'll just, fall back. And I'm like, is this something that happens to you on a regular basis? And he was like, yeah, she kind of like pulls up at different places where I am. And I'm like, but this isn't your girlfriend. Like, this isn't a woman that you're seriously dealing with. He's like, I mean, I dealt with her a little bit. We went out, but it wasn't really anything serious. Then why is she following you around? You don't need to follow people around, period. But especially in that type of situation. So at this point, I'm just like, man, I gotta try to get home. So we start driving and we're heading towards where I lived. And at the time I stayed like not far from LSU. So I can't remember what the road was, what the actual street was called, but it wasn't that far from LSU. So, but it was kind of like in a isolated area. So we start riding and we have to go down this one street for like a good period of time. And as we pull out of the parking lot from the restaurant place, she is behind us. She continues to follow us. So we come upon like an actual accident and we have to sit there because it was a 2-lane, road. She sits there with us the whole time. Never does she honk her horn at us. Never does she make any gestures. That's what the scariest part about it was. Like, this was a natural thing for this woman. Like, she was fully into her stalker thing. Like, she was just watching this man. So I'm like, okay, he was trying to, like, once we got around the accident, he's like mashing on it, like, okay, we gonna get away from her. No, we were not gonna get away from her. I don't know if that lady had a V8 or what, but sis was right behind us, okay? We could not get away. So the next thing is, he's like, you know what? Let me call my homeboy, because he stays in these apartments over here. He was like, and I'm gonna pull into the apartments and I'm gonna have him kind of like block the lady off. And I'm like, is this gonna work? Because at this point in time, I want to get as far away from this man as possible. Because in my head, I'm thinking, you don't have your life under control. You have someone following you all over Baton Rouge. This is basically scary. We don't know what this woman is capable of. So he calls his homeboy and he's like, yo, bro, I'm about to pull in, Keisha or whatever her name was, she on me right now. And I'm trying to get away. I got, shorty with me and I'm trying to take her home or whatever. So we get into the apartment complex. Of course, she follows us right in. It was a gated apartment complex. She pulls into the complex with us. So at this point, you know how an apartment complex is. It's really hard to just race around apartment complexes, and this was a large one. But he, at this point, is driving crazy. Like, he's going so fast, and he's like, my homeboy is going to just, pull out and cut her off. So we're going around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why? I know it was a free meal, but dang, it wasn't worth all this. So look, we're riding, and his homeboy it's like we came up on a curve almost, and his homeboy shot out, puts his car like this, and we keep on going, and he stops her. Like, he dead stops her. Like, she can't go around him. She can't do anything. And the guy is able to get out of the complex. He's able to get me safely home. But that experience was just so crazy. So what I wanted to tell you all, and no, I did not ever go out with that man again. I did not ever want to see him again. So number one thing, like I said, for my tips, you want to make sure that you ask a person, do you have a stalker? Are there some unresolved issues with the person? Is anyone popping up on you, calling you continuously? Because the whole thing with stalkers is that affects you. What if that woman wanted to try and fight me or attack me, or she just refused to leave and there was no way we could get away from her? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So the second tip I have is that if you have a stalker and that person is pulling up on you and you're not in a relationship with that person, you're not dating that person, even though they shouldn't be doing that anyway, but you need to actually get a restraining order. I think sometimes people let things go for too long and they don't get the police involved. It's not weak to get the police involved when someone is negatively impacting your life. You need to go to the police. You need to get that restraining order. You need to keep all the receipts for all the times when that person was calling you repeatedly, texting you repeatedly, and you just need to make sure that happens, because it's going to be hard for you to date someone when you actually have a stalker. The third thing is, as soon as someone shows you that they have crazy tendencies, that they don't understand the type of relationship you have with them, we need to start just cutting people off. Like, as soon as I notice something kind of strange, I'm like, nope, cut it off, because we're just allowing these things to linger on too long and build up for too long. And the main thing is just that you stay safe. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were able to get something out of this, and hopefully it'll help you if you're in a similar situation. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at niaolivianow, or my Snapchat is niaolivia21. I hope you have a fabulous day and be blessed.